Hello and welcome to how I play my level 65 Mage in Everquest 1. So we're going to talk about spells, we're going to talk about hotbar stuff, we're going to talk about all that. But this is a continuation from the level 50, level 55, and level 60 videos. And this is, they're going to all build upon each other all the way to 125. But if you want to jump to the end and see how I do it at 125, the 125 video is already out. I believe 115 and 110 are out also. So those are available, maybe 105. But this is how I do it at 65. And if you want to follow along and watch these characters progress, this is the Hobbs and Friends series that I'm playing these characters with. But let's take a look here. So I have Sun Vortex here is my primary nuke spell. Now this does 1600 damage. It's I mean, there's another one that we could use if we wanted to. I believe Firebolt of Talon, I think it is. This one does, I think, more damage. Yeah, this one does 2100 damage. With about the same. Like the mana costs are it's a little higher casting speed, but I don't know. I feel like this one is a little bit more efficient. Like this is 250 mana, so I can get more out of my bang for my buck out of it. It's also conjuration based. This one's evocation based, so I don't know. I kind of pop back and forth between them, but it just doesn't matter, I don't think, too much. Burning Sand, I was using this for a little while, but the recast delay is not doesn't work well enough for what I got going on in my multi-bind. Now, here in a few levels, we're going to get a new spell line, in fact, called Raging Servant, right? It's to carry on from this line here at 56, Drizzle's Deafening Decoy. Now, Deafening Decoy will summon out a little pet or two, right? Let's pop it. There you go. Sends out a pet, and we have a pet attacking. And now, I don't know how much damage this thing does. It looks like normal pet damage, right? It flurries, so... but it does like 46 damage, right? It's not it's just a dot, if you will. Now, we are going to be replacing the spell with that one at level 70, but I wanted to kind of get into that rotation now since I got rid of all the rain spells, because in the last episode of Hobbs and Friends, Tawani died to a rain spell, and it was just total chaos ensued, because the crit damage is getting higher than, their hit points, right? So it's just not worth doing in a non-perfect situation where I know I'm going to be able to control everything, right? If you're playing one character and you're doing the rains, that's probably fine, but I play sometimes where all my characters are bundled up and auto-follow, and so they're all stacked on each other. So if I'm raining, like literally, they're gonna kill themselves. So I switched that out with that just to make things easier for me. Next up, I have Mass Mystical Transvergence. Now this is our mod rod. I think it was level 56, right? So this is the last one we got that does like the first one we get that does AOE, and this is the only one I got right now. We will get an upgrade to this soon, I believe. Hopefully, but it is just a little bit of extra mana now. I have it in my assist button for both mages. I run 2 mages, and I believe I have it in the shaman also, so we'll see how that goes long term, if it's even worth casting. Next up, I have a damage shield. I try to keep a damage shield on the tank at all times. This is just the group version of the latest damage shield we have, so I don't even know how much it does per slash, but I think we're in like the 100-ish, 150-ish range damage shields right now. All right, and then Burnout 5 is our current pet buff. I just keep it memorized at all times, just because I'm lazy when it comes to that. Eventually, I'll drop it to just a macro like this. Not that one. Oh, this one. it'll become something like that when the mage gets a little higher and the duration, you know, is a little bit longer, right? It's a 1 hour and 51 minutes, so I'm almost to that point where I would be comfortable not having it memorized at all times, because I do usually only cast it like once or twice in a setting, right? It's if a pet dies or recast it, but you know, other than that, it's fine. Next up, I have Servant of Mar. Now, I like to keep the mage pet memorized at all times, just because it's, you know, like if they die somehow, I can just get one out really quick without having to sit down. In some cases, I'm not on a mount, so I will gain aggro from sitting, which is not pleasant when you're trying to fight mobs that are pretty hard. So I leave it memorized. I use the water pet at the moment. I'm considering when we get to, what level is it here? I think it's like 66, right? Child of Wind. We might use the wind pet, or the air pet, all the way till 70. And into 71, where we would obviously get another air pet. I believe the air pet does a stun, and I think it's going to be better for the way I play. Lowering the damage of, you know, the outgoing damage of the mobs just might be more beneficial. But I need to do more testing. I literally went from 60 to 65 in less than 2 hours without even trying. So I'm leveling pretty fast here, so it's a little bit of a, you know, it's hard to test things. But I did lock XP, so we're going to try some things out offline while we test all that. Next, we have Summon Lava Orb. Now, I don't know if this is worth it. I have not done enough testing with this, but the gist of this is, here it is. You summon a lava orb using this spell here, which gives you this item. You can click that does lava jet, and it has a I guess 12-second recast on recast type 5, 10 charges of this. So you know it's 5,000 damage, and I just don't know. I just don't know. Like, I haven't decided. I've done the higher level ones before, and I get comments telling me to use it, but you know, making sure I summon the orb is always been the issue for me. Like, let's go ahead and just start trying this here, right? So I'm gonna hit 4. There we go. So everything's going now. I guess I'm fizzling. I don't know what is going on. The recast time's not met. Some of these spells are just triggering the weird times. I don't know what is going on there. Yeah, something, see, like, adding it in. It's because it's such a quick recast that it's not letting me actually cast, like, an actual spell. You know what I mean? So, like, now it's up, so I'll be able to pass. Boom. It's in. Now I can cast there. So, I mean, it's definitely more DPS. It's, you know, it's gonna be functional, like, in all cases. But you can see there, we've already burned, you know, 4 charges of it. So how often am I gonna have to recast this orb, kind of thing? So, you know, it's something that I need to DPS it out, right? I wish I would have loaded up the log parser before going here, but yeah, it is what it is. But we're trying it out. I'll let you know in the level 70 video if I still do it. It's still worth doing. Next up, we have Elemental Siphon, which takes health away from the pet, and it's like a cannibalize for the pet, honestly, and it gives me mana regen over a where is it at? I don't even see it anymore. Yeah, there it is. Resiphon. It's a 10-minute duration. So it does 1,200 damage to the pet and then gives me mana regen. It is what it is. Anything that can make me regenerate mana faster is going to be cherished, but it is not always the best. Another spell that I don't have on the bar right now is Zegani's Phantasmal Guard. This one is another HP mana regen buff. Seems to stack with everything that I've tried, and it lasts for 4 hours. Eventually it'll be in our Unity spell at 75. So we won't have to like memorize it, but definitely a good spell there. Another one I'm casting at the moment is the Pet Aura, Earth and Strength. Now I will replace this with Arcane Distillect, I think is what it's called, later on, but right now I'm doing this one, which puts a buff on the pet right here. Earth and Strength. Now that increases the melee damage of all pets in range. I'm running 5 pets with my group right now. Five pets, so you know, add all that up plus another mage who's also doing, so all the pets are doing, you know, exceptional extra damage. Let's see here, and I think that's everything on the spells that I use. I don't really swap them out much at all for this character. Let's see here, my hotbar buttons, they're pretty much the exact same. The only thing that's changed is the multi-bind. So now I have Host of Elements in here. This is a new ability we got. It summons 3 swarm pets. Then I added in Decoy, which is our swarm pet that we get at 56. It's lower damage, but it's still worth casting, I think. And then I have my nuke there. I switch between Vortex and Sunbolt. It just depends on what I'm looking for. I like Vortex because it's less mana overall, and it's a little less of a initial hit of damage, right? So it does 1600 versus the 2100. So a critical might not, you know, a critical on that, you know, double it, right? And maybe a little bit more depending on your AAs and stuff. That might pull aggro on me, and I'm trying to avoid that until my Shadow Knight has a better way of locking down AoE aggro. Next up, I have Servant of Ro, which is a summons a level 66 Servant of Ro and just nuke stuff. I think it's the giant fire elemental you see all the time when I'm casting. And then Companion's Shielding. This just gives the pet a little bit of shielding. Now, at some point, I don't know when it is, when the Shadow Knight cannot tank as well as a pet, all the pets will then be using taunt, right? So 75, 80, somewhere around there, when he's not all the way as, you know, durable as he can be. I'm going to have the pet taunt on to lower the damage that he is taking, and then Companion's Companion Shielding will kind of help out with some of that, and then we will get another one. I think Companion's Aegis. Yeah, right here, Companion's Aegis. We'll get this one at level 90, which should be another one I'll be casting on pretty much cooldown to make sure the pets are always at their peak defensiveness. So something there, and then at the very end I have Turn Summoned, which doesn't do anything unless it's a summoned creature, but if it is a summoned creature, it will do 2,000 damage and a chance to do 32,000 damage. There's no loss to me having it there. It's just clicks when you multi-bind abilities, they just all trigger, and if it triggers, it triggers. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Just the way this game was made. So it's there for the sake of it being there. Everything else in the hotbars are pretty much the same. My short-term duration buffs is just pretty much cast. What is that? Damage shield, and then the normal spell set here. We'll switch that back in, which is Elemental Siphon after that. So it's pretty basic right there, right? It's DS, and then once the DS refreshes, Elemental Siphon. Boom, we're good to go. We got mana regen. I'm still testing the orb. I think it looks like it might be, pretty good, but at the same time, I'm gonna probably be recasting that a lot, and that's to me as playing, 6 characters, having to recast, every 10 charges that's annoying, and I'm not gonna do it, even if it's a DPS loss. So that's just how I am, and when I play, you might be different. Let's see here. What else do we got going on? Everything here is the same. These are all high-level abilities that'll eventually unlock as we get the AAs for them. You can see here we have Frenzied Burnout got unlocked, Companion's Fury at some point, which just increases pet damage, and then I can put it into a burn button in every 15 minutes. I could probably just do it every 15 minutes no matter what, but right now it's just there. These are all going to be set up later. I did remove Call of Hero from my bar, and I'm just going to focus on the AA Call of Hero, which seems to be fine, right? I Call of Hero the other Mage, and then I can just like pretty much chain Call of Hero characters in and out until I get Group Call of Hero, and then that'll take a permanent spot in my bar. I will always have Group Call of Hero memmed on both of them. Let's see here. That is about it. About that stuff. Now, let's talk about the pet. So I said I'm using the water pet. We go back. Oh, he's fast. Go back here. We tell him to attack, right? We go to other melee. Tell him to attack. Come on, get to work. So he backstabs. He has no weapons on. He has nothing. His inventory. Go here. He's wearing, he gets summoned in with this phantom plate, which just gives him a little bit of AC. Let's stop him for a second. Bring him over here. Now in my bag, I have summoned griddle of, what is this one? This is hammackj. So this is a extra 500 hit points and some stats. And then 2 blades here. These are the blade of Kedge, which is the current weapon. So another 50 HP plus each blade will proc a 270 damage ability. Now, some people say it's DPS loss. Some people say it doesn't matter. I'm in the camp of I don't really care how much loss. Like, I'm obviously probably going to be losing DPS, right? That's just something that I'm gonna accept right away by having a proc on there. I lose a little DPS, but at the same time, he's procking for more than he hits. So we're also gonna give him Muzzle of Maradu, which is 11% haste item. Best we can summon right now, so give that to him. So if we do pet inventory again, he is he's pretty well tricked out. So we go back over here. So he was hitting for 84, 87. He backstabbed for 274. 87 seems to be his max hit. Let's hit him again and kind of see where he's at now. So he's still max hitting 87, but he's hitting 87 more often. He's backstabbing for... So 87, his max hit's not really going up, but it's not really going 274 there. But he's also, if we can find out where it's at, he's proccing Elemental Strike, was 184 damage, plus, what is this one called? Wrath of Ice, 144 damage. Now, I think it's worth it. Like, his procs are more than his damage, his melee damage, right? Maybe eventually it's not worth it, but hey, like, it all adds up to a good time, and that's what I think when it comes to that. Now, as you can see, I have, I had 6 sets of all that stuff summoned because I'm going to give one to each pet. like all my pets are going to have the exact same items, the same stuff. So they're all going to be a little bit doing more damage, and that's something the Mage brings to the table that I probably didn't talk about very much in the previous videos. But at this point, I feel like giving him the Blade of Kedge here is worth it. And you can give this all the way to a level 40 and it's gonna proc, right? So you can get some crazy stuff on low levels if you give these out, right? Now, the griddle, that's 500 extra hit points. That's like an extra hit on some of these cases. Later on, the pets have so many hit points. I feel like they have 1,000,000 hit points, if not more. So it is really crazy. And then the 11% haste just makes them a little better. Now, one thing I should mention is we got at 65, I think, it's companion suspension, which allows our pet to be a valid target for beneficial group spells. So you can see here my pet has all kinds of spells, and if I turn on my bard, right, if I hit melody there and go back, he is going to start getting all the songs if he didn't already have them. Yeah, they're already there. He has all the songs that the bard is singing. So he is getting, bard haste, bard over haste, bard spell damage, which should be the procs here, right? It should affect those. Let's try that real quick. Let's see. Well, they would have already been calculated there. Never mind, he already had them because they don't wear off here in guild lobby. So he's getting a lot of extra buffs. And that's why I feel like the bard is better for, pet-based groups than an enchanter, because the enchanter really affects me, the caster, versus the pet. But as a mage, I have lots of little summon pets that I can summon and throw out there. Like here, let's throw this guy out. Now, if we can click on him and see his buffs. Yeah, I can't. No, I can. There he goes. So he's getting influence from Aura of Insight and that one right there. Now, it doesn't seem like he's getting influence from the other ones. It might be a level thing, but he does get the extra damage from the aura. So that is beneficial. I believe the next tier we get will be affected by all the buffs. The Ravaging Servant or whatever it is, the Servant line. So we'll see how that goes when we get there. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that about the pet. Like it could be a DPS loss, it could be a null, just whatever. But he hits for 87, or he procs for 200 and something. Whatever that proc was. So it is, I don't think it's that much of a loss right now at this point. But there we go. That is how I play my 65 Mage. If you have questions or comments, please let me know. Suggestions, let me know. Anything else, let me know. Leave a comment down below. I love engagement, and I love hearing feedback from everybody. But thank you very much for watching, and please have a fantastic day.